We are here with the talented, very successful Mr. Lars.
Good looking.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Yeah. Good looking.
Humble.
Yeah, humble at the same time. Hedenborg. You know, it's not a regular occurrence that I sit down with someone that like actually punched me in the stomach, but you did it with a question, or really a statement. On a coaching call, you wanted me to bring you a personal win and professional win. And I had a very hard time bringing you personal wins. Professional wins were fine. And I shared with you a professional win that I'd gone to my son's soccer game. I shared with you that he was surprised, like, and you were like, that's terrible, in all seriousness. And it really knocked the wind out of me and caused me to really stop and pause and think, you know, what I was doing and how I was spending my time. I also know that you can't give somebody something that you don't already possess. And I know part of your story is having gone down a similar track, and whether it was someone like you who said that to you, or you kind of noticed yourself, that caused you to start to make some changes. Is that right?
Yeah, for me, it was probably more or less just not having the comfort of a family sort of environment as a kid, and just knowing that I didn't want that for my family.
And
then you get into real estate, you're like, oh shit. It's like instantly it blows up in every part of your life.
Yeah, and when you were at the Gala and you gave the talk, you showed pictures of you with like I think it was your son, and there's like in your as you're like on a laptop, like right on the deal.
I'm on my BlackBerry.
Yeah. So you did that. You noticed kind of, because I'm aware, like, you know, in our families, like we're like, you know, we're leaders, right? And I think people are more influential than they realize. And we were talking last night about this kind of mental map of different levels of leadership, which really coincide with different levels of consciousness. So you had this awareness, like, hey, I want to have this like tight family unit. It's really important to me. At the same time, the world and real estate as a business was pulling you down this path of working 60, 70 hours a week, because that's what traditional success is. And, you know, that first level is like, of consciousness is to me. So was there a time where in your business you were thinking that way? Like, oh man, all this stuff is happening to me?
No, I think you and I are similar. I think we skipped the to me stage.
Okay.
To a certain extent. I mean, we were talking, you know, we do have the ability, for whatever reason, we're like massively driven, you know, so I got out of corporate America and got into, you know, this industry and, you know, instantly found the traditional success. And that just leaves you with not a lot of bandwidth, not a lot of sort of margin in your life to show up as the dad or the husband that you really want to show up as.
Got it. So,
you know, so we were able to, and we're both like this, we're able to, you know, we have enough sort of personal accountability, and just driven, and, you know, we can hardly help ourselves to a certain extent. You know, the homes are there just to, those commission checks are ours to take.
Just to get,
And there's, you know, the industry's jacked up in a lot of ways because most agents are, you know, they're just victims, you know, and the interest rates and the market and low inventory, you know, and that's just that doesn't have to be the story.
Yeah, and we both coach agents and have had coaching companies for like a decade. And that is something that I see is very, very prevalent, which is that particular level of leadership or consciousness, which is to me. So this is happening to me. You know, my sellers need to be nicer so I can enjoy myself more, or enjoy the business more, or the market needs to get better, or interest rates need to come down. And that level is where my success or failure or my personal happiness is dependent on external situations.
The dynamic in my family was, for a lot of different reasons, there was a lot of chaos, and I didn't want to bring that chaos, divorce, alcoholism, and just a bunch of stuff. And I think I just took the role of just doing the right thing in my family. So I studied real hard, and you know, my outlet to all of that was the path of achievement.
Got it.
You know, and just working hard, and almost like you can't control it. You know, it's just like, I'm gonna study for this test until I know I'm gonna get an A. I'm gonna, you know, work hard, where I sold 44 homes in my first full year in real estate.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when you say that, I know what you mean. I think my wife, who's in the room, she would agree with you. She's like, can't even help himself. Like, it's like,
she's nodding.
Yeah. Well, and I told her one time, I'm like, hey, if something was to happen to me, would you marry somebody that like was like totally not ambitious at all? Like, are you like, I don't know, somebody, you know, and so, but I know underneath it, at least for me anyway, I'm curious for you, what I've come to like be aware of is that achievement thing is more like, well, if I achieve more, then I'll be loved. Or if I achieve more, and it's a fear that if I don't, and if I'm not like a rock star at everything, then people won't love me. Is really what that is.
Yeah, I mean, probably don't have enough time to unpack all of our baggage on this episode, but I feel blessed. I mean, in that way to have at least that was my addiction, so to speak, versus like, doing way more sort of harmful things or things that are not like socially acceptable.
Yeah, it's a healthy addiction.
Achieving and making lots of money is like, it's acceptable.
Yeah, it's like, good job.
Right. But it has this massive like collateral damage that I just wasn't willing to accept. All of that.
Was there anyone that you could turn to that could be like, hey, this is how you like build out, this is how you create margin in your life in the real estate business? Was there anybody that you could learn from, or was it more like you pulling from corporate America and having that background and like an MBA where you're like, oh, this is how business is like supposed to run?
I mean, honestly, I think it was my first coach. I went to a conference like my second month in real estate, and the first book that coach had me read was E-Myth.
Okay.
Revisited.
Yeah.
So I think that set this trajectory that, I was going to build a business, a real business that gave me freedom. Mm-hmm. Even though even at the time, teams and that whole sort of leverage model, the team leaders had no freedom whatsoever. Mm-hmm. They were still selling there are still teams that are doing like 1,200 transactions where the team leader is selling 200 homes.
There's still agents doing that now.
Yeah, and they're marginally profitable at that.
Yeah, marginal.
So I was going to figure out a way to do it as a business where I didn't have to show up every day and just deal with the nonsense of all the drama from all of the clients all the time. It was just too much.
Yeah, and then you started to systematically, because you were very systems oriented. Mm-hmm. He is the Excel master of the universe. And you started to systematically build out SOPs for each part of the business. Is that right?
Yeah, and it's like, if you've seen the movie The Founder with Michael Keaton, the scene where I think it's on a tennis court and he's on a ladder and he's like, wiping out the chalk lines. And I mean, granted, that's, they called it the speedy system. But their vision was to just optimize that one thing so they can, roll it out into 40,000 locations or whatever. And I kind of viewed the real estate business like that. There's so much nonsense that an agent does on a regular basis that does not make them any money. And they think it does. And the traditional model will have you think that you need to do all the 12 jobs that a real estate agent's required to do. Mm-hmm. And 10 of the 12 jobs you can hire people to do for way less than $50 an hour.
Yeah, and as you were doing this, I think you started to get, like, obviously it worked smashingly successful for you. Mm. What were you doing at that time, like 400 units or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, not every year did we do. 5 years after I did 44 in my first full year, and then we did over 10 times the production with 10 agents, and I was out of production.
And you were completely out. And it was profitable.
Out. And it was, I took home 1.2 million that year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And there were some very kind of prominent voices in the real estate industry that were like, nah, you're full of shit, man. There's no way you could do that, right?
Yeah, the year before, I won't say his name, but he's been coaching for 40 years, and he's got a son that has a big coaching company too.
Yeah.
I sent out for a webinar. The title of the webinar was How I Sold 312 Homes Working 1 Day a Week.
Yeah.
And this guy, who's the OG of coaching, you can figure out who it is, sent that email, took a screenshot of that email and sent it out to his entire list. And so people were emailing me like, and he said, if you believe this, I have land to sell you, like swampland to sell you in Florida or something.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that is such a, it's like the, what's that analogy? They said it today in our event where, you have one crab in a bucket and the crab will get out.
Yeah.
And you have multiple crabs in the bucket, they're going to pull the crab down.
That's what that is.
That's exactly what that is.
Yeah. And I'm aware it's also a lack of open-mindedness. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I got an email like that sent out about me too. So we're in the same camp.
Awesome. And I was talking to that guy's son, like face to face with his son. And he said he couldn't get his dad to go golfing with him that weekend because he had a hefty event he had to do.
Yeah. Oh,
like it's crazy if you think about it.
I think you can only duplicate what you are.
Yeah.
Right. So, and it's interesting to know something's true. Kind of like we know, like EXP is like real. It's like a real thing. Mm-hmm. Rev share is a real thing. Equity is a real thing. Collaboration is a real thing. And for other people, it'll be like, nah, that's not real, right? So you're doing that, and then you figured like, okay, I can teach other people how to do this, right? Was that a natural thing? Was it a natural growth, or did people start to reach out to you and they were like, "Hey"?
No, you still give me shit today about like not being on social media. Like I'm super introverted. Like give me a spreadsheet over like anything. I was telling Carla like I haven't been on Facebook in like I don't know how long. And that's the only platform I'm even on, which is not like...
Which is funny to me because you said Facebook first. That's kind of funny to me.
Right.
And what I told you today...
I go on Instagram and I get a headache.
Yeah.
Like everyone's better looking than me. Their kids are better behaved and they're traveling all the time. It's like, what am I? I'm a loser over here.
Yeah.
So, but I forget your question.
But you still managed to like somehow build a coaching business.
Yeah. So I think it was exactly where we started the conversation, you know, where... there's a good book, I think it's called The Second Mountain, where it's like you kind of figure out your first mountain is all the homes you sell and, you know,
the grinding, the pushing.
And all of that. And then the second mountain is helping others to do it. You know, so leading others and impact. And
did you really feel like a calling to do that? Or was it more like...
I remember turning to Julie, my wife, and saying, do you think I can start a coaching company? And she, when I first married her, I had this like super cozy, multiple six-figure corporate job. And then within, we weren't married yet. Yeah. Like I got into real estate just after.
Start all over.
And I went from like multiple six figures, super cozy, to I think I netted 37,000 my first 10 months in real estate. I spent money on everything. I sold a bunch of homes, but I just wasted a bunch of money. And I was like, man, I've got to figure this thing out. So no, it wasn't really natural. I mean, I think there's just this higher calling where I saw a lot of even the big players in the industry that just they didn't have a quality of life. They weren't, it wasn't balanced, and they didn't really figure out the system side, and they were still heavy in the business. And a lot of, you know, I watched some of them, you know, just have major challenges. And I think that was the inspiration. I was also saved in 2009. So I got into real estate in 2007. I was saved in 2009, and that just kind of got me on this journey of just more serving. And when I first started my team, it was very selfish.
Was it?
So selfish, like not as harsh as I'm going to make this sound, but they were there to serve me.
Yeah.
You know, so it was not the model of leadership that you would read in any book.
Yeah.
Because I was so triggered, and I was figuring out how to generate all this business and sell all these homes. And, but it evolved over time, and I had some really tough endings of relationships and tough conversations, and that really put me in my place, and my faith was coming along. So with this whole, you know, model of just, not that I'm even in the same, you know, ballpark as Jesus, but just leading more like, you know, that just a humble heart. And I'm not as humble as I could be. Julie reminds me of it all the time. She's like, yeah, he's working on his humility.
I think my wife would say the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm working on it though. Because I've shared it with you more than once. But our probably 6 or 7 months that I spent talking to you twice a month was intricate to me mentally getting over the hurdle of letting something go. Because in that by me stage we were talking about, it's really about control. And you get the specialized knowledge, right? And you learn kind of certain mental maths, you have some discipline and consistency. And then what happens is you can start to kind of, I don't mean this in an egotistical way, it's just true. It becomes like at will because you can control it. It's easy to set appointments, easy to go take listings, easy to go just keep doing that. And for that reason, it's very difficult to let it go. And we were on a call and you were like, yeah, man, like your biggest impact now is, it's not about money, it's about impact and time. And your biggest impact is no longer sitting in living rooms. It's sitting in a room of 4,000 or 5,000 people and teaching them, right? So that's a testament to it, because what this model allowed to happen is you were a guy that I was even in your coaching program, never talked to you, right? Because, you know, there's another coach. And then the moment, and you're the one that also helped me to see the model when you explained the difference between profit share and revenue share. I used to be with KW. And you're like, yeah, it exists in that model too. It just goes to one person. I'm like, oh, yeah, it does. That's true. So you helped me see that. Then you also helped me to let go. And you helped me to focus on things that were more important. But the model allowed that to happen. If it wasn't for the model, that would have never happened because I wouldn't have spoken to you.
Yeah, and also not to give away any of the details, but when I asked you guys to put your financials together, and I told Carla that she forgot to fill out the bottom of the spreadsheet. It was all zeros. Yeah. And I said, she says, yeah, we don't have any liabilities.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, then for sure you got to give up production.
Yeah, I know. Then we got on a call. You're like, bro, why are we even having this conversation, dude?
This is not the right conversation.
Yeah.
But there are many folks like, so when you decided to pivot, I don't know anyone that would have made that pivot the way that you did.
Really?
And no, I mean, it was, so I mean, I'll give the numbers. I mean, I think you were doing like 800,000.
Yeah. 850, 900, something like that.
Yeah. So, and once you sort of wrapped your head around, and it is this conversation, the 3 levels of leadership. And for you, I mean, you're going to have the ripple effect of the coaching and the rev share, and just the combination of the two will have way more impact than you just selling like 100 or 200 homes a year or whatever it is, and doing that for another 10 years. And so the fact that you were willing to make that decision and just like kill off I don't think if I lined up 1,000 agents that you were the 1 out of 1,000 that would make that decision.
That would do that.
And it's just like, and you're just delaying, like that cash flow is going to come back, but it's going to be way more elegant.
Yeah, it comes back with time freedom and location freedom.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and what's cool too is and I appreciate your kind words. What's cool too is that all of that impact though, like you have a hand in, because you helped me to make that transition. Because without those conversations, or with you, you'd be like, yeah, man, so when you're like not going to go on listing appointments anymore, I'm like, I don't know, maybe in like 3 months. He's like, oh, I was thinking like next week. And I'm like, what? Come on, man, like give me a second. And then my wife like, yeah, like you should start right now.
He hasn't done it yet.
Yeah, I know. And then you would have to be like,
give him a second.
You did. You would have to be on calls. You'd be like, he's making progress. Okay? He's at least talking about it now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm super appreciative and grateful for that.
Yeah, it's it's something that, I mean, it's going to continue to grow. And I was, in a down market. So I was looking at my numbers recently. In a down market, I mean, every agent let the market dictate how they showed up.
Sure.
And net, I think my organization grew by like 150 agents or so. And it was only the growth of your organization that did it. You just refused to accept that the market was going to dictate, what happened to you last year.
Yeah.
Where most agents, it's that first level, this is just happening to me. The market's not allowing me to succeed, or my sellers aren't, whatever.
Yeah. And I find that the like a little bit is that by me, but I think also like a big component of that is through me. And I think it also protects and shields you from like getting not humble about it, where it's like, no, man, like you don't understand, like this comes through me. And I felt when we were having those conversations, it's interesting because your comfort keeps you from your calling. And I was just like comfortable. But through you, perhaps, I was receiving a message which was like, hey man, like I let go of that so you can do this other thing. And I think when you're driven by purpose, that's entirely different than being driven by money. I think it's much more powerful. I think, people tell me they burn out. I'm like, you're not a candle. Over the next, because how old are you?
50.
50. So over the next, I don't know, 10 years, what is your purpose and mission?
Man, to launch my kids into the world well. I can probably cry thinking about that. That seems like pretty weighty. I've got a 13 and a 16-year-old. And then, just being in the best shape of my life to enjoy the next 20 years after that.
It's awesome.
So that's the big purpose, and just continuing. And not everybody in my organization shows up ready to build and grow.
Yeah.
I offer these tremendous opportunities to plug in, and it still blows my mind how few people plug in.
I know.
So the folks that are willing to show up and want to build and grow, I will do anything. I was telling you, I mean, there pretty much isn't a time that you could call me that I won't, unless I'm, totally not able to answer, that I won't answer, because you're showing up.
Yeah. You told me
and I'll do the same for your team too. I did a call for Jessica, same exact. I wouldn't have done that for anyone.
Yeah.
Really. I would have, people that are paying me $2,500 a month to coach, I wouldn't answer any email or text.
Or like, hey, are you available tomorrow?
Like, no.
No, I'm not.
But I don't even hesitate. And there's no part of me that's like unhappy to do that or anything, because it's a challenging time. I realize that, agents that are building, they're also in production. And I know that's a massive challenge, but this model is just unbelievable. And the fact that we get to do it together and we get to hang out in Cabo, and
it's amazing.
It's just really, really cool.
Yeah.
So in terms of my purpose is just mainly just to make sure my marriage is as strong as it possibly could be, as the kids, they're lots of great marriages where they just fizzle out when the kids leave, and you're like, well, what are we married for? So to make sure our marriage is strong, we're physically strong, we're spiritually strong, and then to hopefully our kids will want to hang out with us again.
It's the hope, right?
It's the hope.
Yeah.
So I just really loving on them, and being active in their lives, and it's not that complicated. Staying close to God in the process. Start my days with Julie, praying and reading the Bible, and there's not much more to it than that. It doesn't have to be all that complicated.
No, it doesn't.
And staying off social media.
I don't know.
You'll probably get me on social media.
I'll get you on a little bit, bro. Yeah. Well, I love the mission. I love the purpose. It truly is a privilege and a pleasure to be partnered with you, man.
Same here. I couldn't say it any better than that.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's grow.
Let's do it.
I'm on YouTube like a madman, like watching videos every morning while I'm cooking breakfast. What do I do? What do I do? And then it started coming together. And
you've been involved in, our ecosystem with the role play groups and the online courses and the group coaching calls and all that stuff. I was like, yeah, for about a year, you're like, nah, dude, like I've known you for a while.